Narito ang programang totoong-totoo, Tambayan sa DWIZ. Programang magliliwanag ng ilang mahahalagang mga issue. Tambayan sa DWIZ. At ngayon, narito na sila upang maghatid ng saya sa bawat Pilipino. Sa programang Tambayan sa DWIZ.
Magandang tanghali, pasensya na po. Welcome to Tambayan. Ako po si Trixie Cruz Angeles. Medyo naka-phone patch pa ako ngayon while we deal with our internet issues. Kaya tuloy ang programa para hindi na sa stress. Don't worry, pagka na-resolve within the time, ang ating internet issues will be back with a video, back online with a video. So I hope everybody's feeling well. And I hope everybody's taking care. May COVID pa po, although very optimistic ang mga tao, nakakalabas na. And of course, tuloy-tuloy ang kampanya ng ating mga kandidato. We just came off from an interview with Senate candidate Greco Belgica, and he was given the opportunity to explain his side about certain issues. Kayun pa man, in the end, i-decide yan po ay kayo, taong bayan, as to whether, these issues are surmountable or yung Senate agenda niya ay yung kailangan natin at sayang sana we had more opportunities na himayin. Kayun pa man, so far, nakikita natin one of the reasons nag-umpisa tayo dito sa mga interviews. Nag-umpisa ito with just the Senate candidates of Hugpong, and later on expanded to the Hugpong BBM until, marami nang gustong magpa-interview. Now, ang purpose nitong mga interviews natin ay malahad yung mga Senate agenda o yung legislative agenda ng ating mga panauhin. At the same time, kung merong mga issues na re-raise po ito, nabibigyan sila ng pagkakataon i-address yan. At in the end, ang huhusga pa rin ay ang taong bayan kung sila ay, sa tingin natin, ay katanggap-tanggap, maganda yung agenda, yung legislative agenda, may expertise yung tao, sa tingin natin, pinagkakatiwalaan natin sila na isugod yung mga ganong klaseng mga programa na pinopropose na nila for us. So, we've seen, and ito yung mga good surprises for us. Halimbawa, si Sec Gibo Teodoro was surprisingly, kumbaga hindi na siya masyadong uptight. Kasi yun yung impression natin sa kanya, medyo, how do you call this? Formal na formal parate. In the meantime, ito naman kay Spock Sari Roque, grabe overachiever. Hindi ko akalain. Of course, alam ko, magka-batch kami niyan sa UP undergrad, but I know that he went to Michigan to complete his undergraduate work in political science. Tapos, yun na nga, nag-law sa UP and then nag-masters abroad. And he is one of the few lawyers who can appear before the International Court of Justice. Parang less than 5 lang yata sa Pilipinas ang allowed magkanon. So, sino pa ba? It was always nice to listen also to Sec Manny Piñol because, parang totoong-totoo yung dating niya. So I apologize, hindi ko natapos yung kay Sec Gibo naman, yung yung expertise niya and yung experience niya as a corporate lawyer, ang saya. Ang saya because, alam niyo yan, when you're listening to somebody who knows his work and and you can appreciate the kind of work that he's doing, medyo sobrang nakakatuwa. Parang nagiggeek out ako at his ability to converse and to traverse sabi ko yan. Para kaya niyang tawirin yung geekiness na kailangan natin for certain aspects ng batas na kailangan natin i-upgrade i-evaluate, i-review, at i-monitor kung okay pa yung mga batas na yun. Kung yung mga batas na yun, yung pang hindi natin kilala masyado, dito na ako, online na ako. Okay. Kung ang yung, how do you call this, kung yung batas is so specialized, we really need people like Kidoro to be able to interpret that for us. So, yun, pero ang saya niyan, it's so very interesting na may mga ganyang klaseng surprises. And then, of course, well, so far sila, of course, Congressman Marcoleta, who is a litigator. Ang mga litigators kasi, yun yung mga trabaho namin, maharap sa hukuman. Minsan ang tawag sa amin yung mga brawlers. Yung nakikipagbakbakan, yun yung bardagulan.
So, in the case halimbawa of Attorney Harry Roque, galing din siya dun sa bardagulan na yun sa hukuman. Of course, it doesn't really look like bardagulan, no? But it's something that we say among ourselves na courtroom brawlers. And, you have the best. Now, itong apat na to, I'm not saying that they're my favorites, pero parang gano'n na nga. Kasi not only because they were the first, but because they bring something to the table. And I'm very happy that they do so. And lalong-lalo na dun sa in the case of yung mga wonderful surprises kasi. And then of course nagulat ako, and I'm very happy to note na si Congressman Marcoleta, bukod sa nakikita nga nating mga asikasuhin niya, kumbaga, na doon sa ating mga batas, is yung concern niya for juvenile justice. So alam natin na may issues yung batas at saka may issues din yung appreciation ng batas, lalong-lalo na on the side dun sa mga law enforcers natin. At nagkukulang yung batas sa Juvenile Justice Act dun sa reforma sa bata. Dun yung malaking pagkukulang. Hindi na a-address at hindi na ilalayo yung bata dun sa reach ng mga sindikato, which is something that we should be doing, di ba? We have to take them out of dangerous situations. At ang ganda ng response ni Kong Marcoleta na we can work together to make this a better protective mechanism para sa mga bata. They're taken off the streets, they're taken away from the syndicates, at may appropriate punishment dun sa mga sindikato. Yun yung maganda na kumbaga pleasantly surprised kasi hindi ko originally nakita yon dun sa sa proposal ni Kong Marcoleta. Meron siyang para sa agrikultura and all of this. At tuwa din naman ako doon, but the added bonus was of course yung commitment niya na titignan niya yung Juvenile Justice Act, which was for me one of the better, how do you call this, better responses so far. Kasi yung iba mga tipong defensive lang tungkol dun sa batas, alam niyo yan, medyo dinidefend lang without helping people to understand kung bakit may ganitong provision, kung ano yung kahinaan, kung ano yung kakulangan. So this is something that we always like about Congressman Marcoleta.
And we're back. Pasensya na po. So, Diyos ko po, as if the day wasn't stressful enough. Ito po. We're back. Nakalimutan ko po batiin ang lahat. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Hearts Day po sa inyong lahat. Pasensya na hindi nagko-cooperate ang ating magaling na internet. And I hope, ito yung isang tinatanong natin sa halos lahat ng ating mga Senate candidates at yung mga kandidato, ano po ang gagawin ninyo sa internet natin? Ang laki sanang tulong ng internet sa ating mga online businesses at saka everything else. Sabi ni Infested Jonesy, mag-cable kayo, attorney. What makes you think hindi pa kami naka-cable? Issue talaga ito sa amin. This is dedicated yung aming internet. So I guess we're going to have to change our internet providers na. Buong araw na po ito, hindi lang po yata sa Karambola, tuloy-tuloy ang issue dito sa ating internet. And it's not funny anymore. Kakairita. So, in the meantime, sige, let me just check your comments. Yun nga lang, medyo mahina pa ang ating internet. Dito sa bahay, okay naman siya. Magandang tanghali. Yan, sabi ni Noskete Ipso, mga fighting lawyers na yan, hindi notaryo publiko lang. Ay guys, huwag nyo naman i-small ang notaryo publiko kasi kahit yung mga ibang mga litigators, nagno-notaryo din sila. So it's not something to look down on. Kailangan mataas nga ang requirements para mag-notaryo. So, huwag naman natin yung mga notaryo na ismolin sila. Okay? Kasi they do an essential job for us at mahalaga din po na, well, you have to be a lawyer except dun sa mga areas na walang mga abogado at medyo liblib at kailangan ng notaryo, nag-aalaw po sila na mag-commission ng hindi abogado para makapag-notaryo. Pero ano po yung notaryo? Just as an aside, habang nandito na rin tayo, ang notaryo po ay he makes a document public record, parang ganon. So, kumbaga, yung sinusulat natin, halimbawa sa isang affidavit, is a public declaration and sworn and subscribed and sworn to before a notary public. The notary public is a person who is authorized to administer oaths. Okay? Uy, maraming salamat dun sa lahat ng bumalik. Yung kanina hindi nanonood pero bumalik. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Naku, balik-balik tayo from in between itong audio only to our video as it comes in dahil nga maraming salamat sa ating internet service provider. Ang galing-galing po ninyo kung kailan mag-i-eleksyon. You're not exactly inspiring confidence, ha? Hi from MI. Sino yung nag-MI? MI. MI. Kala ko Middle East. Mali. ME pala yun. Pasensya na. Nagpupuyat si Ma'am Glorine Castillo para makanood dito. Ito sabi ni Francisco Tubal, sobrang busy, tuloy-tuloy lang 22 hours ka na, tinalo mo na siya. Ay, natulog naman ako pero saglit lang yung tulog ko. So siguro kaya when I woke up kaninang umaga, medyo I wasn't feeling well kaya online tayo. Nako, papasok na po ako bukas kasi kung ganitong hindi maasahan ng internet, kailangan talaga bumalik na sa studio. Sige, wag mag-alala, Ma'am Glorine. Studio na ako po bukas. Sabi ni Ferdy Ferds, Ranty, hopeless na internet dito sa Pinas as long as nandyan yung mga oligarchs ng mga networks. Kaya nga, nakikita natin yung value ng sinasabi ni Presidente na kailangan may bago-bago na nasa Senado at saka sa Kongreso. Pero hindi lang dapat bago, but those people who can resist the oligarchs. So, those are not necessarily the same thing, no? Kaya naiintindihan ko din kung bakit yung unit team ay mayroong mga pinasok na mga hindi necessarily bagong muka. Meron silang mga dala na particular skill sets at may maitutulong sa unit team. So, merong ilan mga nandyan who know about cybersecurity, kasi kailangan natin yan para sa darating na eleksyon, or at least meron tayong tao na may alam para masasalag or makakadala ng kanilang insight dito sa unit team regarding that. So, alam niya na. Dito din, yung iba dyan, of course, yung specific skill sets ng ilan dyan, yung yung kayang inuunahan ko na. Meron kasi akong i-interviewin na hindi siya bago, pero maraming nagtatanong bakit siya kasama. So, hindi ko po muna i-announce kasi hindi pa po tapos yung schedules. So, pagka natapos natin yung schedule, i-announce ko right away. Pero ang susunod po natin na interviewin si Attorney Agnes Bailen. So, hindi siya masyadong kilala, but I think it would be good na kilalanin natin just in case meron pang meron siyang masasabi o meron siya sa agenda niya na, sinasang-ayunan natin. Dun sa mga wala tayong pinatatamaan, guys. Sabi ni Rene Bragabain po, medyo na late daw po siya. Good afternoon. He's watching from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Pero meron tayong mga gustong mag-return of the comeback na hindi na dapat natin pinapayagan mag-comeback. Diba? Yung mga yon, alam niyo na, yung mga kung mag-conduct ng Senate investigation. Dalawang klase po yan. Yung isa po ay yung isa po, mas marami pa siyang salita, pero siya yung nagtatanong. Tapos, hindi niya pinapayagan masyado sumagot yung resource person. Bukod doon, nakukulong pa. Diba? Yung iba naman, merong iniimbestigahan ko, no? Galit na galit sa umpisa. Tapos mamaya, wala na yung ibang kinagagalit niya. Kakampi na sila. Tapos ang binabasag na lang yung mga lower ranking, yung mga ganyan, yung mga napaghahalataan kapag nagsi-Senate investigation. Kaya naman pala naiintindihan natin kung bakit nawawala ng tiwala dun sa ibang mga kandidato na return of the comeback. Pero sana hindi lahat na no? Yung mga hindi lang talaga makapag-explain kung bakit halatang halata na sila sa taong bayan, hindi pa rin umaawat. Diba? Oy, magandang tanghali sa mga nakatambay dito sa ating YouTube. Hindi ko pa kayo nababate. Ito, magandang tanghali and happy Valentine's kay dami Ma'am Jennifer H. Kawa, Ma'am Pinay Paparazzi, Owen Friday, Ipis Dagat, James Joseph Bardos, Asper Neto, iba kasi tawid na Ma'am Lucila Restore, Waltz, Yaya Sheila, Sanky Tambag, Going Avgeek by Ian, Baba D, sino pa ba? Shia Alaguer, Alfonso Magpayo, Eric Santos. Hindi nyo kailangan po mag-sorry sa akin kung hindi niyo gusto yung kandidato na ini-interview natin. Wala po tayong pilitan. Ang ginagawa lang natin ay pinipresenta yung kandidato at kung ano yung dala-dala nila. Kayo po, this is one of those few times na kayo ang masusunod. Or tayong taong bayan ang masusunod, di ba? Walang audio. Ay, kanina walang audio. Okay. Shun. Sabi niya, thank you for this. Very big help. Ito to shed light kung sino yung boboto for the Senate. Okay? Wala pa rin daw si Attorney Ahmed. Sabi ni Erwin Martinez, busy po ang lolo nyo. Okay? Hi, reliable internet. Sabi ni Itis Dagat, why are you such an unreachable dream? Ito sabi ni Jeff, Lolo Jeff, sabi niya, bakit wala pong video? Naku, sir, ang ating internet. Ang galing-galing, sobra. Alam mo, kung pwede lang talaga yung dito sa bahay at ikakarga ng at diretso sa stasyon, para ibato ng stasyon. I wish we could do that, but it's not possible right now. So, we have to vote intelligently. Talagang we have to vote intelligently. We really need na kaglatisin natin yung mga kandidato na kayang hindian ang mga oligarchs, kayang hindian yung mga big, huge businesses na feeling nila sila na yung nagdidikta sa gobyerno. Kaya dapat hindian yung mga, how do you call this? Yung mga negosyanteng, how do you call this? I'm trying to be nice when we shouldn't really be nice to them. Yung mga negosyante na pagka nahindian naninira lang. Diba? Yung yung kapag hindi mo na pagbigyan, oust the president na, alam mo na. Yan. Sabi ni Sir Bobby Rubio, baka naman kinukondisyon na tayo ng mga internet providers sa pwedeng mangyari sa election day. Ay, I agree. Alam nyo, sobrang duda talaga ako sa ating mga internet service providers. Ang lagay nito, meron ng pangatlong player, pero ganito pa rin sila, ganyang katigas. Ganyan kakairita. Kumbaga, they oversold it. Kaya alam naman natin kung bakit patid-patid itong mga internet natin na dapat ginagarantiyan nila a certain bandwidth, patid-patid, because they oversell. There's too many people. They're only interested about the bottom line pero not interested in providing for service. Pero hindi lang po internet ang ganito, di ba? Hindi pa natin nare-resolve yung problema ng tubig. To be fair to the president, he tried. He did his best. Nakikita natin, but hindi natin makontrol din yung ibang mga tao na how do you call this? Na kumbinsi na ng ibang mga businesses dyan. Okay. tinatanong ni Lolo Jeff, kung pwedeng i-share yung boboto natin for senator. Well, so far, 4 pa lang po yung ating napupusuan. Hindi pa natin masyadong nakikilatis yung iba. Tapos na, ini-interview pa natin yung iba para meron namang fighting chance, di ba? Tingnan natin kung anong mahahatid nila. But so far, it's of course yung 4 na yun. Sino ba? Oh, of course, Sec Gibo, Kong Marcoleta, Atty. Larry Gadon, Max. Parang pwede ba namin kalimutan? Manny Piñol. Okay. I'm considering sina JV, but I need to hear other Senate candidates as well. So maganda kasi yung interview niya eh. Medyo uptight lang ng konti, but I think he can overcome that. Like I said, hindi pa sure dun sa 4, sure na ako, wala nang urungan yun. Pero dun sa iba, medyo kino-consider pa lang. But I'm not closing the door on anybody outside of those 4. Dun sa 4, signed sealed na yan. Hindi na po mababago yung mga yan. So kailangan pa natin kausapin yung iba. Ito, sabi ni James Joseph Bardos, tama na, ituloy ng DWIC and TV station para magkaroon ng microwave link sa remote broadcast. Di na kailangan ng internet. Oo nga alam niyo naman. Tapos, sabi ni Precious Gonzalez, duda ako sa survey sa senatorial rates. Okay, para sa akin kasi ganito we cannot pick and choose. Or we shouldn't. Kasi if you agree with the presidential part, and then you disagree with the Senate part, sabay-sabay naman yan kinukuha. It's possible that they could gain the numbers, but I'm not really sure to what extent they can do that. Kasi kailangan mag-provide sila ng impormasyon tungkol dyan. So, nagbibigay naman sila ng mga methodology nila at saka yung number of respondents nila. So, doon natin titignan talaga. Titignan yung mga yan. Yung mga, whether or not credible itong mga survey firms na to. Pero hindi ko kasi rin gusto yung pick and choose. Okay tayo dun sa President, Vice President. Hindi ako naniniwala yung dun sa Senate. Para sa akin, we're going to have to take it as a whole. Kung hindi natin pinaniniwalaan yung isang parte dun sa the whole. Ito si Ma'am Risa, sabi niya, buti naman di kasama sa list niyo. Kasi hindi rin naman, alam niyo, like I said, dun sa 4, convinced na ako. Dun sa iba, we need to read some more. Kasi maganda yung mga interviews, marami akong natutunan sa kanila, maraming mga surprising revelations, ganyan. But, hindi pa ako made up with the others. You can never can tell. Baka naman may masama dyan na hindi niyo gusto. I'm not sure. Marami, kumbaga, open-minded pa ako na, parang networking lang. Open-minded pa ako about the others, and I'm not, kumbaga, hindi pa drop lahat. But I really like kasi yung mga dinala nung 4. Ay, sorry, kasama pala si Harry Roque. Sorry. Number 5. Na-convince talaga ako ni Spock Harry. Yung Chuck yan, sorry. Napaka-overachiever niya. And sa totoo lang, I like that I like that in a person. He saw something he wanted and he went and just got it. So, gusto niya mag-senador, nag-try siya before, hindi masyadong uubra, but I think this time he has a real shot at it. I like the idea. I like, alam mo yan, kasi if he's doing it for us, kung gusto niya talaga, halimbawa, ipasa yung isang batas na pinaniniwalaan natin talaga, essential yung batas na yan. Kung classic overachiever ka, you will get it, and you will get it for us. So yun yung mga gusto kong personalities. Now, some people don't like him kasi medyo abrasive, but I think that what I like about him is that he can get things done. Yun sabi ni Viterbo Vara, Mark Villar po, I still need to talk to him. Offhand, I like him. He's a nice guy. Nakausap namin siya sa Karambola. But iba yung makausap natin one-on-one, mailahad niya yung kanyang plataforma and all that. I also like the confident ones, yung mga sure sila dun sa kakayahan nila. And kasi pag dumating sila sa Senado, may debate yan So, kailangan sure ka dun sa kakayahan mo na kaya mong umakyat sa podium at makipagbardagulan in the nice, polite Senate way, pero bardagulan pa rin yun, with somebody else over a law. Kasi may debate yan, di ba? May mga interpellations and so on. Kailangan somebody who is confident at kaya niyang umakyat dun sa podium at makipagsagutan. Number 2, we need people na kayang mag-consensus building, ika nga ni Atty. Harry. So, yung consensus building na yan means na while kaya mo makipagbardagulan, kaya mo din makipagtsikahan, you can get people to be on your side. Kasi hindi isang tao lang ang nagpapasa ng batas, binubotohan yan ng mga colleagues mo. And so, without this capability of consensus building, good intentions ka nga, magaling ka, love ka namin, nakikita namin, lumalaban ka dyan, pero wala kang maipasa. So, paano yon? So, we need that kind of balance pagdating sa legislature natin. Sabi ni William Legion Redovan, pag nag-interview kayo ng mga kandidato, tanong niyo yung tungkol sa internet natin. Sir, hindi po kayo nanonood ng iba nating mga interviews. About 90%
of the time, hindi lang umabot dito kay Attorney Gretz kasi naubusan tayo ng oras, but we always ask. Bakit di ka convinced, Attorney Tick, sa mga lineup ng mga senators ni BBM Sara? Because we're not the types who will take things at face value. For the most part, I agree. Teka, lilipat na ako sa video. Ayan. For the most part, I hope may audio ko. Okay. For the most part, I agree dun sa lineup nila. Kaya nga inuuna natin sila. But like any voter, it's important that we look at why we're saying yes to this. Hindi ako yung type. In fact, it's like buying designer labels. Right? Hindi ako yung type na bibili ng designer clothes simply because designer siya. Kailangan maganda din siya. Kailangan practical din siya for whatever purpose I'm going to wear it to. Diba? Pang court yan, it has to be something that I can mix and match. Pwede kong suotin often, durable siya, and so on. So, actually, yung fact na designer siya counts very little because in the end, you're going to need something that is good for you and practical. So, yun po yung reason. Kasi kung mag-depend lang tayo dun sa sinasabi ng mga tao sa atin na ini-endorso nila, then what is the point in all of the interviews? We also have to decide eventually for ourselves. Thank God may video na, sabi ni Checks and Lines. Well, we try to please, we aim to please. So, wag naman po rin ganyan. Parang pinalalabas ninyo na wala akong tiwala kay BBM at Sara simply because kinakausap ko yung Senate lineup nila at ibang mga senatorial candidates. Does that mean necessarily? Kasi tiwala ako dun sa dalawa. But it's still my vote. And I still would like it. Parang yung ibang mga tao dito, di ba? Sinasabi nila, mahal natin si BBM, si Inday, mahal natin si Presidente Duterte, pero yung endorsement nila about certain candidates, hindi tayo sure. So, to get over that part where we are not sure, kakausapin sila. It's not fair then to these people na, sige, binoto ko lang dahil ganito. And then, pagka nagka-buyer's remorse tayo, binoto natin on the simple say-so of somebody, sino ang pagbibintangan natin later on? Ayokong mag-carry ng burden na yon, si BBM at si Inday. In the end, tayo ang nagdi-decide. Tayo mag-shade ng balota eh. Diba? Sabi ni Maneka Herse Tolentino, tama po kayo, kaya salamat po sa matatalinong tanong na mas mag-guide sa atin na makapili ng tama. But you know what? Dito nga, in the course of the interviews, nakikita ko rin kung bakit nga merong mga tao na pinili sila. Sa umpisa, hindi ko naintindihan eh. Pero habang pagkausap sila, nakikita ko na, ito pakalakas eh. Unang-una, merong mga common dun sa hugpong at saka dun sa BBM candidates. Agrikultura ang common sa kanila. So nakikita natin na nire-reflect nila yung goals ng presidential and vice presidential candidates. Okay, magbabalik ang tambayan kasi in spite of all the patay-patay, magbabalik ang tambayan, ang oras natin 12:34 ng tanghali.
Muli nating balikan Tambayan sa DWIZ.
And Babalik ang tambayan. Hopefully, solid na yung internet natin. Mga katanungan nyo naman. At saka may request dito. Konting light topic naman. Alam niyo, sa totoo lang, stress na stress. Kanina naman. Parang ramdam na ramdam ko po kayong lahat. Of course, on both sides. Ramdam na ramdam ko si Attorney Grex. Ramdam na ramdam ko din po yung mga sa tanong ninyo, yung mga frustrations, yung mga ganon. Hindi ko ma-shield ang sarili ko dun sa mga nararamdaman ninyo. So now, yes, konting stress relief. Pero sagot muna tayong mga tanong. Sabi ni Ma'am Rosemary Malabon, napapabalitang maraming kaso si Lenny. Sino ang dapat magsampa ng kaso sa kanya? Halimbawa, walang magkaso, absuelto na siya, ganun lang yon. Wala ba tayong batas to pursue mga tiwaling mambabatas kahit tapos na ang office nila, TY? Okay. Yun nga po yung, I'm sorry to bring this up. Yun yung sinasabi ni Attorney Grex na kakulangan doon sa ating batas kasi walang mag-investigate on their own sa mga ganyan. So itong what we need is kasi yung batas natin basically it relies on a complaint. So kasi paano malalaman halimbawa ng law enforcers natin na mayroong issue, may mga crime, hindi po nila mapupulis lahat. Pero dapat meron ding motu proprio yung sinasabi natin na on their own sila po ang mag-iimbestiga na kasi baka may nababalitaan, may mga informants, ganyan. But there's not enough of that para dun sa elected, kaya take note, elected officials. Okay? Madami pong nag-iimbestiga sa mga appointed officials except for the secretary level. Pero yung mga hampas lupa levels, marami po ang nag-iimbestiga. In fact, madali. Walang kinatatakutan, walang sinasandalan, for whatever reason, sa hampas lupa levels ay andali. Pero dun sa higher levels at dun sa levels ng mga elected officials, walang motu proprio na investigation. So that's kind of a good point, no? But I think you just proved the proposal. Pero let's stick to Lenny. Meron siyang merong reklamo si Ma'am Nelly Villafuerte na kalaban ni Madam Lenny sa sa congressional seat niya doon sa election at kinasuhan siya. 'Di ba nanalo si Madam Lenny 2013. So kinasuhan siya for accepting foreign funds na nandun sa declaration niya. Ang theory ko, I would emphasize this is a theory and simply an opinion, is that the only way to have resolved that is to just patagalin na naman yung kaso. And in that case, it worked. So ito, yung napatahimik, na tumagal, at ang nabigyan ng emphasis ay yung electoral protest ni BBM. Which is, para sa akin, sayang kasi meron pang meron pang yun nga yung issue dun sa Villafuerte side, which should have disqualified Madam Lenny. Now, remember what I was telling you. So, di ba, ang daming nagsasabi, ilang beses nang tumakbo si BBM, ngayon nyo lang binibring up yan. Kasi disqualification nga. Ang sabi ng Korte Suprema, it can be raised at any time. Meaning, kahit tumakbo na siya, hindi na raise nung mga times na previously tumakbo siya, pwedeng i-raise na yan. Same with Madam Lenny. Ngayon, that's why maganda yung fair tayo kasi yun, kung hindi niya magagamit yung argumento na yun, it means na we can also raise the issue at any time with people like Lenny. Sobrado. Now, merong nagsasabi na merong kaso siya for sedition. Now, meron po, or inciting to sedition, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, pero I understand that this has been dismissed. Okay? Ito yung kaso na co-respondent niya, si Trillanes, ito yung mga Bicoy cases. Doon sa Bicoy cases, siya po ay nakasuhan doon sa level ng piskalya, pero wala pong finding of probable cause, kaya na-dismiss po yung kaso sa kanya. However, dun sa kaso kina dating Senator Trillanes, ay tinuloy yung kaso po. At the same time, while it is Valentine's Day at nabati ko kayong lahat, maligayang bati rin sa kaarawan ngayon ni Senator Juan Ponce Enrile. At gayon din kay Madam Chris Aquino. Guys, you can say whatever you want about her, but she is at the very least very, very entertaining. Light na question lang, sabi ni Billy Almighty, may ka-Valentine ka po ba? 3 ang ka-Valentine. Ay, sorry, mas madami pala. Marami akong ka-Valentines. My dogs, my cats, my kids, et al. Okay? Siyempre may ka-Valentines, ano ba? Pero we don't really, we don't really observe that eh. Parang yun, after a while, okay, imbis na bigyan mo ako ng roses, pwede bang steak? Ang mahal-mahal kasi, you want to go out, magba-Valentine's dinner kayo or lunch or whatever. O mismo on Valentine's Day, ang laki ng gagastusin ninyo. Ay, birthday din daw ni Heart Evangelista. Okay. How do I address her? O Miss Heart Evangelista, happy birthday din po. Well, I think appropriately named ka pala. O sino pa may birthday, mabati na rin habang nasa birthday na rin lang tayo. Okay. Mga nagtatanong, sige, ano naman daw? Pagkain. Pagkain. Well, since today is Valentine's Day, can we ignore chocolates? I think not. Para sa akin, I always like the combination of chocolate and, let's say, raspberry, or yung pinadala sa akin, parang pomegranates, granadas, chocolate na may parang granada jam sa loob. Yun. Well, of course, chocolate na may raspberry jam, the best para sa akin. But I will also just take a cup of hot chocolate and raspberry on toast. Okay yan. Okay. So, yes, the dogs have Valentine treats. Pero huwag yung paalala, it's a surprise. Nakikinig sila, they're both sleeping at my feet right now. And my cat just woke up. So, ewan ko ba, bakit. Ang tawag sa akin dito sa bahay, mga ma'am at mga sir, is the Beastmaster. Kasi wherever I sit down, all the animals will congregate there. Ewan ko bakit. It must be the smell. Pero I would like to thank nga pala, kasi nga, kaya binabati ko si JPE today, is because he was my first interview na, how do you call this? My first celebrity interview. Siya po. And I got to interview him 3 or 4 times. And there's always something new. He always says something interesting or new, and he gives us an excellent perspective of history. Because even if you're not on the same side of some issues, I like the fact that he backs it up with facts, and he was there when history was happening. At least itong mga history na that we are so interested in, di ba? So I like that. I like that idea that you're talking to somebody who was there. And then of course, ang daming merong merong mga nagsasabi na na yung mga haters pumupunta na sa wall. Ang sabi, wow, ang galing ni Attorney Fix. Doon siya parati sa sikat. Excuse me. Sabi ni Ma'am Pinay, she forgot about Jack the Meower. Excuse, how can you forget Jack? He will never let you forget him. Pero mas unforgettable po si Belial, yung cat ni Atty. Ahmed. Yun yung kumagat sa akin. Okay. Back to JPE. Back to the comments about me being on whoever's side, no? I was not always pro Marcos. But one time, inakusahan ako na pro-Marcos daw ako because my boss in the NCCA at the time, one of my first jobs, was former Central Bank Governor, former DEX Secretary Jaime Laya. And he was also my client. And the fact is that I learned a lot from that person. He taught me how to run a board meeting. He taught me how to think, which is good training for somebody who is very new in the profession of law. Now, Jaime Laya is not a lawyer. He's not a lawyer. He is an accountant. But his knowledge of Philippine culture and arts is unequaled. And, his appreciation, his ability to his understanding of government was something that profoundly influenced me. So, which was why I suddenly became interested in why were all these people being demonized. I couldn't understand that. The good thing was, Presidente Duterte came along and blew all of those, the walls in my mind wide open. And so, JPE, who was one of the most demonized of them all, was very interesting to me. Because this was a person who I honestly and totally believed was just, 2 shades shy of the devil incarnate himself. And then nakausap ko siya. And then he was interesting. He was smart. He had, practically a photographic memory of how things happen. Of course, yes, there will be some things that he sides with that I don't necessarily agree with. But man, nobody can say that he's not an interesting person. Nobody can say that his knowledge of the inner workings of the Marcos government are not encyclopedic. And, I understand also that there's some people who don't like him allegedly because of his role in the EDSA revolution, but at the same time, he put that into perspective. And suddenly, now I am interested in as many perspectives as possible of that particular historical event. So, that's I think the good thing about both Jaime Laya and Juan Ponce Enrile is that they were examples of the skills of President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Of how he took people in, how he hired people. He chose the best and the brightest. I realized that to the limited extent of the people that I have met and the people that I know, events in who were part of a particular era na kailangan na iintindihan natin. So, whoops! Wala na naman tayo. Okay. Alright. Patay sindi. Okay, so this was they were part of that period of which we only hear one side of the story. So, naging interesado na ako na, teka muna, what about the other side, the side that we don't hear? Was it really as bad as it was, and so on? So I also got the opportunity to talk to Dr. Laya about a little bit about those years and, the kind of politics that they had to play and all that. And it was also hugely interesting. Kumbaga, I think it's people with weaknesses, and there are people who are just caught up in events. So, yun yung consider that as just one part of the story, then we can move on to look at the other parts of the story. Ay, wala na naman tayo. I don't know if I still have audio, but tinatanong ako. Ay, nako, not again. Waiting. Ayan, okay. So, parang kumbaga, now that we have that opportunity to look at things from huge opportunity to do. So, ito, sabi ni Paul Nimeno, would you accept a cabinet position under Dion? Pakisagot nga si i-text mo na tapusin ko lang ito. Waiting. I'm still just waiting to be brought back online. Okay, yan. Would I accept, tinatanong ng na if I would accept a position in any incoming administration, under BBM administration, Ako,
So, yun lang ina-emphasize natin dito is that we need to look at many perspectives as possible. And then we can, mas magaling tayong judge pag nakita natin lahat. And so, hindi na rin pwede dapat tayo na dinidiktahan tayo, di ba? Hindi na dapat ganun na isang narrative lang. Kailangan as many opinions as possible. Ngayon, halimbawa, nakita na natin parehong panig. Halimbawa, kabilang parlor. It's impossible not to hear their side. Ang ingay nila. So, we see their side, we compare it with the other sides, we keep an open mind. When they're right sometimes, but when they're wrong, man, are they going to get it? But, yun po yung natin. Yun po yung that's part of the nation building is that we make informed choices. So, but, that's why I'm so grateful that the Duterte administration managed to help open minds. Like that. Ngayon, ang sasabihin, ang trajectory ngayon ng election campaign ng kabilang parlor is historical revisionism na binasag na natin. It is in keeping with scholarship to always test the narrative, to always question what is already acceptable. Kumbaga, ganun din naman sa science, di ba? There's some things that we can always question provided na meron tayong basis na isusumite to question at saka para merong natitest yung mga theories all the time. So, but there's some things, of course, that we can accept. We can accept, for instance, gravity. But the other things, we can always provide additional evidence or look for additional evidence that will satisfy us to their existence. So, yun. It's a constant discovery what's going on. And it's not different then dito sa ginagawa natin sa paggagawa ng bansa, sa nation building. So always remember that na the informed choices that we make are part also of the nation building, part of the education. And remember, yung sinasabi natin, an educated citizenry makes the country stronger. Hindi na tayo maluloko. Kasi yung mga nagluloko sa atin, they were the ones who kept the public education at barely tolerable levels. Doon talaga yun sa levels na not exactly good for us. Kumbaga, di ba yung sinasabi nila that they were trying to keep us stupid so that we were easy to govern? Unfortunately, they can't do that forever. Sabi ni Ma'am Ida Galdiano, in the name of service to Filipinos, to be in a government position is just one of the many ways, but today your service is incomparable educating us. Yes, ma'am. And I believe in that also, that we don't need to be in government to be of service to the country. Kumbaga, yung mga questions about whether or not I'm going to serve in government, it will depend on what kind of service is demanded of me. And if that kind of service might not be better given by somebody far more qualified. But there are people who really should be in government. I'm not sure if I am one of them. But if there is somebody who is better, then that might be, it might be better to appoint somebody else and allow me to serve my country from the private sector, from educated in the area of helping people understand what is going on, while at the same time giving an opinion. Ang marami kasing nagsasabi na opinion niya lang yan and so on and she's biased. I react to some of these comments, yung mga nagsasabing biased yan kasi pro so and so yan. So, alam nyo, if that were true, then everybody is biased and there is no opinion that can prevail. And there is nothing that any person can say that you will believe if that is going to be your guiding light. The fact is, there are some things that we will be presenting as facts that are irrefutable because they're there. If I quote you the law, that's the law, and there's nothing you can say or do about it that's going to change unless the legislature changes it. Right. So, guys, maraming salamat sa pagsubaybay sa aming Patay Sindi Day on Tambayan. Thank you for being my stress relief for the day. Thank you for informing me with your intelligent questions and comments, and your providing me with additional facts and so on. We never resent it, and we're always grateful for your feedback. So thank you very much. Ang Tambayan, ang susunod na programa, which hindi po nasabi sa akin. Tambayan, yung susunod na programa. Ano ba yung susunod na program? Okay. But tomorrow may Tambayan po, Karambola po bukas, 8 o'clock in the morning. And baka mamayang gabi may live tayo sa Luminous. Thank you very much sa inyong pagtangkilik ng programa namin. Don't forget, like, share, follow, and subscribe. See you tomorrow. I see you later this evening.
Tambayan sa DWIZ.